It wasn't the result West Virginia wanted, but they may have found something there at the most important position with Scotty Fox. We're going to talk about it here today on Between Eers. Hello, everyone, and happy Sunday morning. Schuyler Callihan here with another episode of BTE. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button here on our YouTube page at West Virginia on SI. Got shows every Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday throughout the football season. The Walk Thru GameDay Show every Thursday previewing that week's matchup. And, of course, the Mountaineer Postgame Show immediately following that week's game. And last night, Scotty Fox gets his second straight start and really impressed. I mean, before I get into the whole theme of this episode, I do want to tip my hat to Scotty because, I mean, to go out there and play the way he did after what happened last week in Orlando, night and day better from him, from a supporting cast. It wasn't great. There were still a lot of things that can get fixed and should get fixed moving forward down these final four games, but still going 28 for 41, 301 yards, two touchdowns. That breaks records for the most completions in a game from a freshman quarterback at WVU. It also broke a record for most passing yards in a game. That was 51 years, I believe, was how long the record was set. Now, I know freshman quarterbacks don't play a ton, particularly at West Virginia. It's been a long time since one even started a game before last week where Scotty got his first start. But still, it just shows you the level of maturity that he has, where he's at in his development, and that he can be the guy. And now here we go, okay? Because I hate to be that guy that kind of rains on everyone's parade. And after we finally see a glimpse of, or maybe a glimmer of hope, here I come barreling down with the reality of it all, okay? And that is TCU's pass defense is one of the worst in the country. I talked about it on the post-game show. I talked about it on the preview show earlier in the week. They rank 110th nationally with 251 yards allowed per game. That was going into last night. So obviously that average is going to hurt them a little bit more, and they'll probably fall down the rankings a little bit more. West Virginia's pass defense was 107th. So they, after all of these explosive plays that West Virginia's been able to give, or that they've been giving up in the past game, TCU's given up more yards per game. So just keep that in mind when you look at this performance. Now, you still have to go out there and execute. You still have to go out there and give what the defense takes you, and take what the defense gives you, I should say, backward this morning. But when you go against a team like Houston next week, he ranks in the top 40 in pass defense. Now you have a challenge. You're on the road. They saw a lot of film, 41 pass attempts, and obviously a few more dropbacks where he ended up keeping the ball. They're going to have a game plan for you. Willie Fritz is one of the better defensive coaches in this league. So before we jump the gun, before we put the cart in front of the horse and say Scotty Fox is going to be this phenom of a quarterback and this guy that's going to turn everything around, let's pump the brakes a little bit. Let's be fair here to Scotty and give him just a little more time. Let's just see what happens. Instead of, getting all excited and saying he's going to be the guy, or maybe you're still thinking that it's somebody else for whatever reason, or that they're going to have to go out and get a transfer quarterback. Whatever side of the aisle that you're on with this, let's just take a step back and just observe. Just observe for the next few weeks, because the season's not going anywhere. We understand that. So let's just take and gather information over the next month, and then we can assess. We look at one performance and just write a guy off. We look at one performance and just anoint him as the guy, especially at the quarterback position. As I talked about last night, like the moment a quarterback makes a play, whether it's the pass game or with his legs, everyone just thinks, oh my gosh, like he's the guy, right? We go back to the opener against Robert Morris. Scotty Fox rips off the 59-yard touchdown run, And I said it right away. That's the worst thing that could have happened in that game because everybody in the fan base is going to start thinking, oh, he's the guy. He's got to start right now. He's not ready to start. He wasn't ready to start at that moment. There was no way. I mean, it was week one, week two that they were heading into. And while I do believe there was a role for him or maybe Jalen Henderson or one of the other mobile quarterbacks earlier on in the season, starting Scotty in that situation early on was not ideal. There were things that he had to work through. He had to continue to learn. He's still learning. And Rich Rod said it last night, like he's got a short menu that he's working from right now with Scotty at quarterback. And the fact that he can do that on a short menu is really impressive. Now, when you start to expand your options and you have more things on your call sheet, now it gets more interesting, gets a little bit more fun. Now you have an offense that can really start to hum. We're a little ways from that. But still, you go and look at what he did, and it's hard to not get excited. I get it from the fans' perspective. They want to believe that he's the guy and that he can be the guy that they can build with for the next 3 years after this, but let's just wait, okay, before we start making our sides because we're all about making decisions right now. We're all about, you know, the same thing with the coaching situation. Rich Rod's not the guy. He is the guy. He's not the guy. He is the guy. Let's just wait. Let's just wait. Same thing with Scotty. Like back to the 59-yard touchdown. You get all excited about that, and then not next week, but 2 weeks later, he throws back-to-back interceptions in the backyard brawl, and everyone's thinking, "Why'd you put Scotty Fox in the game?" Like it's from one end to the other instead of just letting the game come to us and let us see what actually happens. He looked great this week. Last week against UCF, not so much. However, the supporting cast did not look so great either last week. What happens when he faces a good defense and one that is really good against the pass? If he goes to Houston next week and puts up 200 plus yards, he's going to have my attention. Again, I'm still in that gathering information mode. But if he goes to Houston, puts up 200 plus yards, plays clean football, doesn't turn the ball over, now he's got my attention. And then from that point on, it's about just stacking performances, getting better every single week. It doesn't need to be these huge steps that he needs to take. We're just talking little tiny baby steps. He's still a freshman. He's a young pup. He's seeing a lot of things that he's not ever seen before at the quarterback spot from a defensive perspective of what they're presenting picture-wise. So he's going to have mistakes, but if he can limit those and not play catastrophic football and make some things happen, you might have something. But let's just pump the brakes a little bit before we get all excited here and start anointing that he's the guy. We've made that mistake before. Way, way too many times. It happens every time there's a quarterback battle, there's quarterback uncertainty, and you see one guy flash or pop, and boom, he's the guy until he's not. Same thing was said about Khalil Wilkins. You know, a lot of folks thought he was going to be the guy, and he could very well still could be. He's got a lot further to go in the passing realm, but we'll see. Now, a quick breakdown of what Scotty did yesterday, which I thought was about as good as I could have expected. Actually, much, much better than I expected. But when you look at the breakdown and the numbers support what your eyes saw, I mean, he was deadly accurate underneath. Behind the line of scrimmage, probably more pass attempts than you would like, but I mean, that's just the nature and the design of the calls. He went 8 of 8. So probably 4 or 5 more than you'd like, but nevertheless, he hit all of them. In the short game, that's 0 to 9 yards, he was 15 of 19 for 153 yards. Intermediate, 3 of 5, and deep, 2 of 5. So, and there was also a few other deep balls, of course, that didn't count because there was flags on the play, and you were able to get some pass interference calls with Cam Vaughn because he's so freakishly athletic and guys just can't cover him. But still, those are, to me, the things that don't show up, that those count as explosive plays to me. They won't show up on the stat sheet. They won't show up on the explosive part of the stat sheet. But to me, it's a big play because you get 15 yards. So when you look at what he did last night and what he might be able to do moving forward, I think you have an identity, because the run game is not consistent enough. You don't have the horses back there. You don't have the offensive line getting the push that you want. So if they want to stay in games and they want to have a chance to win, you're probably going to have to sling it around a little bit more than you would have expected, especially with the true freshman. But he's extremely accurate underneath. And every now and then you can challenge the secondary, challenge those safeties with some deep balls. But in large part, it's just, don't go broke. You can't go broke by taking a profit. Take what the defense gives you. 5 yards here, 6 yards there, 8 yards here, 2 yards here. Just take what they give you. And I think it's a reasonable kind of approach to take here with Scotty. You don't want to be throwing the ball downfield 15 times. He can do it. Probably not something you want to do. You want to keep him in easy decision mode. And that's why I thought the difference was too, is Scotty just needs the game to slow down for him. We see these flashes where he makes good plays in the past game, but there's some moments where, like the Pitt game, where he just stares down a guy and he just gets too antsy, with the second interception where he just tried to make something happen and he should have just taken the sack. But when the game slows down for him and I think Rich can help him in that aspect too. When he's asking him to get the ball out quick, the game's naturally going to slow down. It sounds weird to say because you're speeding up your thought process, but the game's slowing down because you don't have as much to analyze. When you only have one or two reads and then you're gone and you're taking off with it, it's going to slow down for you. When you're sitting back there and you're going through 4 or 5 reads and you're going through all these progressions, you're going back through them a second time, which probably doesn't happen very often because the offensive line's not that good, but when it does happen, you're almost taking in too much information, and now you're starting to cloud the brain, right? So I thought Rich did a really good job of getting him on the move, specifically to his right, and making some things happen in the quick game. So that's something you can build off of. But as I said in the open, let's pump the brakes. Let's not anoint him the guy. Let's just take the information. This is not a debate, folks, and I'm not gonna go back and forth with you in the comments if you think that I'm not on the Scotty Fox bandwagon or if you think I'm not. I'm not hating on him. I'm just simply presenting the facts. TCU's pass defense was not very good at coming into the game. But what also is true is that Scotty Fox did a really good job in taking what they gave him and doing a little bit extra. Both can be true. So this is not a debate. Simply presenting the facts and saying, let's just relax, take it 1 week at a time, and let's see what happens. So let me know your thoughts on Scotty in the comments section below, and hit that like and subscribe button here on our YouTube page at West Virginia on SI. That'll do it for me today. We'll be off tomorrow. Be back at it Tuesday with another episode and a new week here on BTE.